And good at this. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your minutes of attention. I've been following the SEC stuff with the Texas and Oklahoma trying to join. And of course, Friday they voted for it, that it would be coming through. And I kept saying during whether or not this would happen is that I think the NCAA is in big trouble, and I think the SEC is getting ready to leave. Well, now it looks like the NCAA, right after the vote, was unanimous to let Texas and Oklahoma in, which even though I thought Texas A&M would hold out, but I guess they would only hold out if somebody else did. Now the NCAA is looking to overhaul themselves completely. And I also found out that I think all this goes back to when athletes being allowed to make money off their own image. There was a Supreme Court case on that, and I didn't realize the case had come out just like recently. Like, it came out in June. The court ruled 9-0 for the against the NCAA, and I just started to read that, and I was like, gosh, I gotta get this through. Like, none of this really matters because there's another case coming up with the Supreme Court. This is just there. It's a crumbling right now. It's an absolute crumbling. It all goes around money, and it's all about the I can't think of it now. Not racketeering, but well, heck, it's I don't have that up. Sorry. Anyway, antitrust laws. Gosh, I couldn't think of antitrust. So let's go over this real quick. And the NCAA Board of Governors on Friday, this is after the SEC accepted Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, it's like right after that vote. The Friday called for a constitutional convention in November, the first step towards launching dramatic reform on how the sprawling multi-billion-dollar enterprise of college sports is governed for years to come. Wow. I mean, for years to come. There may not be one. In the wake of stinging loss of the Supreme Court and the radical changes to the way athletes can be compensated, and with college football playoffs expansion and major conference realignment already in motion, the NCAA said it wants to reimagine how it manages the needs of its more than 450,000 athletes. Well, here's one. I don't think you really are right now. Hey, we're going to do this over to Reader View. Watch this. Boom. I mean, first of all, there's 450,000 college athletes. That amazes me. And those are ones that you actually get to play in something. There's a lot. This doesn't count for like intramural sports and stuff, right? The goal is to make sure we can align authority and responsibilities, get that right between campuses and conferences and national levels. Said President, I'm not going to have a job for long. That begins with examining the NCAA's very foundation, a 6-article Constitution that lays out the association's purpose, principles, and general policies. Action on proposed changes is expected to be taken at the NCAA's January convention. It's evident we're going to be take a hard look at the structure and governance of the association to have decisions about the values and discussion of goals. We've talked about modernization of the rules. Well, perhaps the time to modernize the association, so here we go. Why now? I think it's really a shifting legal environment. There we go. That was the whole. That's the whole tamale right there. That's the. You know what? Wasn't I allowed to on here? I thought I could highlight stuff. I'm sorry. Anyway, so that's it goes back to what I was saying the whole time. Like, I really think the NCAA, they're gonna have to reevaluate everything. I mean, I don't see the SEC staying in it. And do they have to? No. I mean, it's it's just a money grab, I mean, think about it in your life. Everybody has their hand out for something, right? Well, NCAA is no different than that. I think like the silliest, stupidest things are like the professional licenses and everything. It's like, you have to pay for every single thing you do, and you have to pay to the state for it. It's almost prohibitive what it does, the cost of business. For someone to become a professional, make it on their own professional, and I can speak on the lawyer side of it. for them, you're not becoming rich. You're usually best case scenario is upper middle class. There's so many fees and everything else that are out there, and that's the same way the NCAA looks like it is. And you know what happens? It just becomes bloatware, and you just need to do a whole. You need to reload your operating system and start fresh. Let's see here. They have a 22-person Constitution Review Committee. Gosh, I couldn't imagine having that many people. Let's see here. Directors and students. The President's Conference Committee, 1,100 schools. The committee will be appointed in August after each division nominates candidates. As the natural landscape changes, college sports must also quickly adapt to become more responsive to the needs of college athletes and current member schools. As national landscape changes. Yeah, you know what? That's not what your oral argument said. The NCAA does not have a track record of acting swiftly with its rule books, and its rule books have been ridiculed for years as being overly dense. You know, actually, I don't have a problem with the rule books, like in football, going over it and stuff. What I have a problem with is that there's not consistent calls made. But that's something entirely different. Actually, that would be a good one to rant on. 6 months from creation of the committee to action to its proposal. That's the timeline. Okay. That would be, by any measure of organization, exceptionally quick. That's what I was just saying. By the same token, we're not a dictatorship or an autocracy. We're an associated member institute. Well, usually if you want something to go quick, you are a dictatorship. 2 weeks ago, Emmer made headlines when he said it was time to consider a decentralized and deregulated version of college sports that shifted power to conferences and campuses away from the NCAA. There we go. I had no idea this guy said this. It's so true. It's so true. The idea is a sea change for an organization formed 115 years ago that is part of the bedrock of collegiate athletes. You know what the thing is? It's not a change. You've been doing it wrong. You've been screwing people over, is what the court said. I mean, this was a 9-0 decision. All right, and it's it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, this would be a good one for uncivil law. That guy to cover. He's an astute document guy. Let's see here. Some conference commissioners, most notably Greg Sankey of the Southeastern Conference. I thought Southeastern was 2 words because it's SEC. Never really thought that one through, did I? Followed with similar statements and said they were ready to begin the process of taking on those tasks. Oh my gosh, I'm awesome. See, this is why I'm the expert. Because I see the future happening. I can tell you what's going to happen. You should listen to me. I can tell you everything about your life, and it will be perfect. Problem is, I don't know anything about my life, and it's a complete mess. So, the willingness to discuss the overall NCAA comes from a month after Supreme Court ruling against the organization and what was seen a bombshell unanimous decision. A bombshell? I think it was the 6th Circuit. They already did a decision. The Supreme Court just affirmed it, upholding a lower court ruling in an antitrust case related to caps on education-related compensation. The Supreme Court also threw open the door for more legal challenges to NCAA rules. Legal experts and college sports observers immediately wondered if the NCAA would look at other approaches to governing college sports. They were a freaking monopoly, you know? I mean, it was a racket. Look, go look at NCAA licensed clothing. Look how much more it costs than like a non-NCAA thing right next to it. Why do you think the cops are always cracking down on people on the streets selling t-shirts and stuff for these things? Because it's such a moneymaker. I mean, it's a rip. They have their hand out. They got greedy, and yeah. Pavlov's dog heard a bell and there was no food to eat, so he ate Pavlov. See here, I worry a lot about intercollegiate athletics, and whether it's a sustainable proposition given some of the things that are happening. You know, they're going to talk about fairness and all this other stuff, I bet. And the whole thing is, well, how about this one? Let's stop having referees that screw us over. who's member of NCAA board of directors and chairman of BCS. During BCS, I couldn't think of that the other day. During his time leading the school, the NCAA seems to be withdrawing from the field. Oh, wow. Earlier this month, the NCAA lifted its long ban on college athletes earning money for endorsements and sponsorship deals. Athletes are already catching on their names, images, and likenesses, but the NCAA is still hoping federal legislation will produce a national standard for all schools. Yeah, you know what? It's not. There's some other problems going on, like voting, corona, national defense right now. Cuba is a little bit of an issue. They're 90 miles off our border. Don't forget that. You know, watch the Chinese go in there and take over Cuba and give them the freedom they want and everything. And then you have the Chi comes 90 miles from us. Jeez. The schools need to come together and create an organizational structure to define the way they make governance decisions, and those processes are going to be quite independent of all the external dynamics. Yeah, you know how they make decisions? They have big parties, man. They're just having big parties. They're calling in, they're getting top shelf liquors, and they're, doing $10,000 an ounce of Coke. They're hookers. The whole shebang, man. And they're just like, when they're all done in their drug-fueled orgy haze, they decide how to figure out things. That's how everything works that way. That's, in the end of the day, that's the way I figure it all goes. It's all about beer and sex. Whether it's political or legal or economic, Emmert said, they need to consider all these things, but they need to decide which makes sense and how they can best oversee college sports. Yeah, you know what? They don't have a job, man. They need to get their resumes in order. So, yeah, the NCAA is crumbling, and this will be the SEC, man, is going to lead the way. They're going to spearhead to take out the NCAA. Why do you need it? Why do you have two organizations telling you how to do stuff? It's like having Karen and her mother over while you're trying to cook some ribs, right? Nobody wants that. It's like, oh, you ought to do it this way. And you're like, no, shut up. I'm doing my ribs outside of the smoker the way God intended pork to be cooked. Anyway. Well, that gave me a flashback to when I was a little kid. Jeez, man. Anyway, that's a goofy story. I'm sorry I even brought that up. Listen, y'all, tell me what you think. Give me your like. Give me your thumbs up. Give me a subscribe. Come on, let's do the subscribe train. And anyway, we'll stay on this and everything else I can think of. I hope y'all are having a great week. God bless you. It's the start of August. This is our last good summer month. So enjoy, be good to each other, be good to yourself, and peace out.